Your liver filters nearly a liter of blood every minute and quietly regenerates itself, but decades of processed foods, late nights, and environmental exposure are silently overloading that vital engine. As a clinician focused on metabolic health, first I'll show you a gentle, science-backed, silent liver detox you can fold into everyday life, no gimmicks, no extreme cleanses. Expect clear, practical steps, the exact foods and herbs that support phase 1st and 2nd detox pathways, smart timing for hydration and coffee, and simple movement and sleep tweaks that help bile and lymph flow. You'll get quick recipes, a 2-minute morning ritual to kickstart detox, and a 7-day plan you can actually follow. Watch through and try the morning ritual with me. By the end you'll have a checklist and grocery list to start flushing toxins naturally and feel the difference within days. Stay with me and let's rebuild liver resilience, one healthy habit at a time. 1. Hidden signs your liver is working overtime. The liver quietly handles detox, hormone balancing, nutrient storage and drug metabolism every day, so subtle disturbances often show up as ordinary symptoms that get ignored. Fatigue that won't lift after a good night's sleep, unexplained digestive upset and a persistent sense of heaviness or fullness beneath the right ribs are common early clues. They're not dramatic, but they're consistent. Look for changes in skin and eyes, even a slight yellowing, darker than usual urine or unusually pale stools, because those point to bilirubin buildup or impaired bile flow. Itching that wakes you at night, unexplained bruises or bleeding that takes longer to stop, and new sensitivities to alcohol or medications are all signals the liver's metabolic and synthetic capacities may be strained. Start by reducing the load on the liver and getting objective answers. Stop or cut back on alcohol, avoid unnecessary acetaminophen and other hepatotoxic over-the-counter medications, and remove or minimize exposure to chemical solvents and recreational substances. Book a visit with your primary care provider and request a basic liver panel, tests that typically include enzymes, AST, ALT, bilirubin, albumin, and clotting indicators, so you move from guesswork to data. Early detection changes outcomes. Addressing issues when they're subtle often prevents them from becoming severe. Understanding why these symptoms appear helps prioritize what to change. When liver cells are inflamed or bile ducts are blocked, conjugated bilirubin can spill into blood and urine, producing dark urine and jaundice, while bile shortage causes pale stools. Reduced synthesis of albumin and clotting factors explain swelling, easy bruising, and prolonged bleeding. Accumulation of ammonia and other neurotoxins can cause brain fog, confusion, and sleep-wake disturbance. This is why cognitive changes aren't just tiredness. Hormonal shifts and skin signs such as spider-like veins or palmar redness occur because the liver metabolizes sex hormones. When it falters, estrogen-related effects become visible. Each symptom maps to a physiological mechanism, which means targeted changes, dietary, behavioral, medical, can make a measurable difference. Integrate practical habits that lower liver stress into daily life. Swap ultra-processed meals for fiber-rich vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. Choose lean protein and include healthy fats like olive oil and nuts. Drink water consistently and favor regular, moderate physical activity to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce fatty accumulation in the liver. Consider regular coffee in moderation. Multiple studies show an association between coffee consumption and lower risk of progressive liver disease. Be cautious with supplements. Some herbal products can harm the liver, so discuss any new supplement with your clinician first. Finally, keep a simple symptom log. Note fatigue levels, urine and stool color, any new bruising, and episodes of confusion or intense itching, and bring it to appointments. If you notice one or more of these signs persisting, act now rather than waiting for worsening symptoms. Ask your doctor for liver function tests, review all medications and supplements together, and create a step-by-step plan to reduce liver strain, cut alcohol, improve diet quality, increase movement, and address weight if needed. Early steps are straightforward and empowering, and they often prevent small problems from becoming major health crises. Schedule that checkup, start small changes today, and treat your liver like the vital, hard-working organ it is. 2. The #1 morning drink to stimulate bile flow. A single cup of plain black coffee in the morning is one of the most consistently observed triggers for gallbladder contraction and bile release. Clinical observations and physiological studies report that compounds in coffee stimulate the digestive tract and prompt the gallbladder to empty, helping move bile into the small intestine where it aids fat digestion. This is a practical, easy step for many people. Coffee acts quickly and fits naturally into a morning routine. If sluggish bile is the problem, feelings of fullness after meals, bloating, or difficulty digesting fatty foods, stimulating bile flow early can make a noticeable difference in comfort and digestion. Coffee's effect comes partly from caffeine but also from other bioactive molecules that promote motility. Short-term responses can be felt within minutes, and regular morning intake tends to help with predictable digestive rhythm. Not everyone tolerates coffee, though, so alternatives exist for people with reflux, anxiety, or sensitivity. How to use it effectively: choose a small to moderate serving of black coffee about 15-30 minutes before breakfast. A single espresso or a modest cup of drip coffee is enough for many people. Avoid adding heavy creams or sugary syrups if your goal is to stimulate bile and digestion. For those who prefer gentler options, a warm cup of dandelion root tea or a squeeze of lemon in hot water followed by a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil can also encourage bile movement through different mechanisms. Bitters and fats respectively trigger cholecystokinin release and gallbladder contraction. Make sure to listen to your body and adjust volume and timing until you find what feels best. Be mindful of contraindications. If you have untreated gallstones, severe gastroesophageal reflux, uncontrolled hypertension, or are pregnant, discuss any new routine with your healthcare provider before starting. After gallbladder removal, bile flow dynamics change and stimulants like coffee may not provide the same effects. Professional guidance is wise. Practical example: try 1 cup of black coffee each morning for a week, paired with a small, balanced breakfast containing healthy fat, avocado or a few nuts, to support digestion. Start small and observe. Track how you feel after meals, note changes in bloating or heaviness, and adjust the type of drink if needed. If you want a tailored plan or alternatives that fit medication use and health conditions, check in with your clinician or a registered dietitian and experiment safely. 3. Bitter greens, the secret to natural blood filtering. Many of the digestion and detox struggles people blame on fat or sugar actually begin with weak bile flow and sluggish digestive signaling. Bitter compounds in certain leafy plants engage taste receptors that sit not only on the tongue but along the gut wall, sending a cascade of signals that boost bile secretion and digestive enzyme release. This matters because the liver's job is to filter blood, neutralize compounds, and hand them off into bile for safe elimination. Stronger bile flow means more efficient clearance of fat-soluble wastes. Short and plain, bitterness wakes up the liver-gut axis. The solution is simple and powerful: eat bitter greens. Dandelion, chicory, endive, radicchio, mustard greens, and arugula each contain bitter phytochemicals, sesquiterpene lactones in dandelion and chicory, and compounds like cynarin in artichoke, that have been shown to stimulate bile production and support liver function. Chicory root also delivers inulin, a prebiotic fiber that nourishes beneficial bacteria and helps bind toxins in the gut. These are not vague claims, they are mechanisms explaining how a handful of leaves can support the liver's continuous work filtering your blood. How this works in practice is worth slowing down over. When bitter receptors are activated, the body increases bile flow and coordinates pancreatic enzymes, which helps emulsify fats and shuttle waste into the digestive tract for removal. At the same time, the fiber and polyphenol in bitter greens bind to bile acids and certain metabolites, encouraging their excretion rather than reabsorption. Add to that the vitamins and antioxidants, vitamin K, carotenoids, vitamin C, and flavonoids, that protect liver cells, and you have a multi-pronged support system: stimulate, bind, and protect. Small choices add up. A salad leaf here, a bitter tea there. Practical integration is straightforward and flexible. Start meals with a small bitter salad. Arugula and radicchio tossed with lemon and extra virgin olive oil primes digestion without overwhelming the palate. Sauté mustard greens lightly with garlic and finish with a splash of vinegar to balance bitterness for dinner. Brew a cup of dandelion root tea as an evening ritual to support overnight liver processing. For gut-friendly support, include chicory or Jerusalem artichoke in stews or roasted vegetable mixes to increase inulin intake. Pair bitter greens with healthy fats so the fat-soluble nutrients are absorbed. Keep it consistent and gradual, your palate will adapt. Try a 2-week habit experiment. Add 1 modest serving of a bitter green daily and observe digestion, appetite control, and how you feel overall. Rotate varieties so you get different phytochemicals and textures. If you are taking medications or have a medical condition, check with a clinician because increased bile flow and certain supplements can interact with treatments. Otherwise, consider bitter greens a simple, evidence-aligned tool to help the liver filter blood more effectively. Small, practical dietary moves that support the body's natural detox pathways. 4. Why fatty liver is common after 60 and how to flip it. The way the body redistributes fat and loses muscle after 60 creates a perfect storm for fatty liver. Muscle mass declines, metabolic rate slows, and insulin sensitivity drops, all of which favor fat storage in the liver. Add common issues like slower mitochondrial function, low-grade chronic inflammation, long-term exposure to cardiometabolic risks, type 2 diabetes, high triglycerides, and prescription polypharmacy, and you can see why non-alcoholic fatty liver becomes so common in later life. Small lifestyle changes that target these mechanisms can reverse liver fat and reduce inflammation. Start with weight and movement because they have the biggest impact. Modest weight loss, typically in the 5-10 range, reduces liver fat. Losing closer to 7-10 often improves inflammation and fibrosis markers. Combine aerobic exercise, walking, cycling, swimming, with resistance training to preserve and rebuild muscle. Aim for about 150 minutes of moderate activity weekly plus 2 strength sessions. Short, consistent sessions work well. 2 20-30-minute walks a day and twice weekly resistance band or bodyweight strength work can be enough to start shifting liver fat and improving insulin sensitivity. Eat to protect the liver. Patterns like the Mediterranean diet, rich in vegetables, whole grains, legumes, olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish, lower liver fat more reliably than fat cleanses. Cut added sugars and refined carbs, swap sugary sodas and fruit juices for sparkling water with lemon, trade white bread for whole grain options, and replace sweets with a piece of fruit plus a handful of nuts. Prioritize fiber and plant-based meals, add fatty fish twice weekly for omega-3 benefits, and use extra virgin olive oil instead of butter. Coffee consistently shows protective effects in multiple studies, so a couple of cups a day is fine for most people. Be cautious with concentrated herbal liver cleanses, some extracts have caused harm. Always run supplements by your clinician. Practical adjustments keep changes sustainable. Replace one processed dinner each week with a vegetable and legume-based meal, and make every breakfast include protein to blunt blood sugar swings. For mobility-limited older adults, chair-based resistance exercises and water aerobics preserve function and still improve metabolic health. Track progress with simple metrics: steady weight loss, smaller waist circumference, more energy, and better sleep. Clinically, ask your provider for baseline liver enzymes, ALT, AST, metabolic labs, and an ultrasound or transient elastography if there's concern about fibrosis. Early detection guides more intensive treatment if needed. Don't overlook medication and disease management. Optimize control of diabetes, lipids, and blood pressure. Many heart protective medicines like statins are safe in fatty liver and may be necessary. Review prescriptions and over-the-counter medicines with a clinician to remove anything that burdens the liver. Finally, set a short, actionable plan. Schedule a liver screening blood test, remove 1 sugary drink a day, add a 20-minute walk after meals, and book 2 weekly resistance sessions. Small, consistent steps delivered with medical oversight are the most reliable way to flip fatty liver after 60. Start with one change this week and build from there. 5. Intermittent fasting as a tool for organ regeneration. The liver often bears the burden of excess calories, environmental chemicals, medications, and the byproducts of everyday metabolism, and that chronic strain can lead to fat accumulation, inflammation, and impaired cellular turnover. When hepatocytes become overloaded, their ability to regenerate and clear damaged components slows, creating a cycle that worsens metabolic health. Many people try quick fixes, but addressing the underlying cellular repair deficit is where meaningful change happens. Intermittent fasting, works by shifting metabolic signals away from constant nutrient availability toward periods of scarcity that promote cellular housekeeping. During fasted windows, the body reduces circulating insulin and increases ketone production and stress response pathways, which together help activate autophagy, the process cells use to break down and recycle damaged proteins and organelles. In the liver, autophagy clears lipid droplets and dysfunctional mitochondria, supporting hepatocyte survival and functional regeneration rather than mere symptom suppression. Practical approaches vary and can be tailored to individual needs. Time-restricted feeding, where eating is limited to a consistent 8-10 hour window each day, is often well tolerated and supports daily rhythm alignment. Alternate schedules, such as 14:10 for beginners or 16:8 for more experienced practitioners, can be effective too. Combine these fasting windows with nutrient-dense meals. Prioritize choline-rich foods like eggs and lean meats to support VLDL export of fat from the liver. Include omega-3 sources such as fatty fish or flaxseed to reduce hepatic inflammation. And fill the plate with fiber from vegetables and legumes to help modulate blood sugar and support the gut-liver axis. Avoid high fructose foods and excessive alcohol, since both directly promote liver fat and inflammation. Integration into real life means gradual change and smart pairing. Start by extending the overnight fast by 1 hour every few days until you reach a comfortable target. Keep protein intake adequate during feeding windows to preserve muscle and support metabolism. Schedule resistance exercise on most days to enhance insulin sensitivity and stimulate beneficial adaptation in liver and muscle tissues. Track objective markers. Ask your clinician for basic liver panels, ALT, AST, fasting glucose or HbA1c, and lipid profile before and after a trial period. Watch subjective signals too: energy, sleep quality, digestion, and adjust timing or macronutrients if you experience lightheadedness, excessive fatigue, or mood changes. Take a pragmatic test. Try a conservative 2-week time-restricted window that fits your life. Keep meals balanced, hydrate, and record symptoms and meals in a simple journal. If you have diabetes, take medications, are pregnant, or have known liver disease, consult a clinician before starting. Fasting changes medication dynamics and metabolic responses. Small, consistent adjustments that promote autophagy, reduce daily insulin spikes, and support nutrient adequacy can shift the liver from stress to regenerative, and that's a change you can measure and feel. 6. 3 spices that act as a shield for your liver cells. The liver constantly faces oxidative stress and inflammatory challenges as it filters compounds from food, drinks, and the environment. Protecting its cells means reducing inflammation, boosting antioxidant defenses, and supporting healthy metabolism. Startlingly small additions to everyday cooking can make a measurable difference. 3 culinary spices, turmeric, ginger, and cinnamon, have well-documented bioactive compounds that help shield hepatocytes through complementary mechanisms. These are not magic bullets, but practical tools you can use at the table to strengthen cellular defenses. Turmeric's active constituent, curcumin, acts on several protective pathways. It has antioxidant properties that scavenge free radicals and can activate cellular defense systems such as NRF2, which upregulates our own antioxidant enzymes. Curcumin also dampens inflammatory signaling by inhibiting pathways like NF-kappa B, helping to reduce the low-grade inflammation that contributes to liver cell stress. For real-world use, pair turmeric with freshly cracked black pepper or a pinch of piperine. Piperine increases curcumin's absorption substantially, so a pinch in a curry, salad dressing, or a warm, golden milk makes the spice more effective. Be mindful if you take blood thinners or certain medications. Curcumin can interact with drug metabolism, so check with your clinician before high-dose supplements. Ginger brings its own set of protective molecules. Gingerols and showgales provide antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects and also support digestive processes that affect the liver indirectly. Ginger can encourage bile flow and improve digestion of fats, reducing the metabolic burden on hepatic cells. Practical examples include steeping slices of fresh ginger for tea, grating it into stir-fries, or blending it into smoothies and dressings. These culinary uses deliver bioactive compounds in forms your gut readily absorbs. Caution: ginger may affect blood clotting and can stimulate bile, so consult a healthcare professional if you have gallstones or are taking anticoagulant medication. Cinnamon helps protect the liver through metabolic support. Its polyphenol exert antioxidant effects and can improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation, key factors in preventing fat accumulation in liver cells. There are 2 common types: Ceylon, true, cinnamon, and cassia. Ceylon is the safer choice for everyday use because cassia contains higher levels of coumarin, a compound that can harm the liver in large amounts for susceptible people. Use cinnamon in breakfasts, spice blends, or beverages. Choose Ceylon cinnamon when you use it frequently. Also watch interactions with diabetes medications. Because cinnamon can influence blood glucose, it's wise to monitor levels if you have diabetes. Integrating these spices into daily life is simple and sustainable. Start by rotating them into meals rather than trying large, isolated doses. Add turmeric and a pinch of black pepper to soups and roasted vegetables. Sip ginger tea after heavy meals, and sprinkle Ceylon cinnamon on oatmeal or yogurt. Combining them with whole food meals enhances absorption and reduces the risk of side effects. Keep variety. Diverse flavors mean diverse bioactives, so your liver benefits from multiple protective pathways. Try one small change this week. Pick a spice, add it to a familiar recipe, and notice how easy it is to boost liver-supportive nutrition. If you take medications, have liver concerns, or are pregnant, consult your healthcare provider before making major changes or taking concentrated supplements. Start simply, track how you feel, and build these spice habits into a routine that supports long-term liver resilience. Quick truth before you go: your liver is quietly the hardest working organ in your body, processing roughly 1.4 liters of blood every minute and capable of remarkable regeneration, even from as little as 25 of its tissue. Yet modern life, too much sugar, alcohol, stress, and too little sleep, can slow it down and leave you feeling tired, bloated, and foggy. The good news? You don't need dramatic cleanses. Small, science-backed daily habits help your liver do its job. Prioritize hydration and fiber, load your plate with colorful cruciferous vegetables, choose healthy fats, move your body 20-30 minutes a day, sleep well, cut back on refined sugar and excessive alcohol, and consider supportive herbs like milk thistle or turmeric after checking with your healthcare provider. Make it actionable. Start your morning with a glass of water and a lemon slice, add a cruciferous side to 2 meals, swap one processed snack for whole fruit, and take a brisk walk after dinner. These tiny shifts add up fast. If this resonated, hit like, share what habit you'll try in the comments, and subscribe for more evidence-based, everyday tips. First, we'll be back with 5 easy liver-supporting breakfasts you can make in under 10 minutes. See you there.